Welcome back to the Crypto World channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and the Bitcoin price experienced a bounce from this important level of support yesterday, as the stock market also experienced a major bounce in the shorter term. So I'll be talking about that in just a moment, alongside some other important Bitcoin charts to pay attention to. And on top of that, an unknown Bitcoin address has just accumulated around $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. And this same Bitcoin whale is continuing to buy millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin every few hours. So definitely make sure you're watching this video all the way to the end so that you don't miss out on any of this important information. And if any of that sounds good to you, feel free to leave a like down below. And if you're new to the channel, you might as well subscribe with notifications turned on for more updates just like this every single day. But with all of that out of the way, let's get straight into what this video is about. So right here we're on the Bitcoin US dollar chart on the daily time frame, and we've got our Fibonacci levels on the logarithmic settings. And of course, we've got that 78.6% Fibonacci level coming in at around $35,000 per Bitcoin. And ever since the Bitcoin price broke below the September low at around 39,500, this is the level of support that I've been looking at, once again at around 35k. And so far, at least, as in over the past few days, we have been holding that level of support, and we haven't really seen any major daily candle close below 35k, at least just yet. So obviously this is good to see in the shorter term for any Bitcoin bulls out there, because if we do end up seeing a confirmed break below 35,000 with perhaps some daily candle closes below 35k, then in that case we don't have a lot of support left for Bitcoin up until we reach the July lows, coming in at around $30,000 approximately. And one of the main reasons why we did experience a bounce yesterday in the Bitcoin price was due to the stock market, such as the S&P 500 experiencing a bounce to the upside in yesterday's daily candle. Now, by the time you're watching this, the US stock market might have already opened up again, and so I would be keeping a close eye on what's happening over there, especially in the Nasdaq 100, because if we see the Nasdaq 100, which is comprised of tech stocks, fall back to the downside in this daily open, then it would be a likely scenario for Bitcoin to play out some more bearish price action if the stock market rolls over a little bit more. But on the flip side, of course, if the stock market continues with this bounce to the upside, then we could also see a similar thing in the Bitcoin price, so keep an eye out for that. And just before we talk about this unknown Bitcoin whale, first we'll talk about this chart right here, which is the Bitcoin 3-day chart. And more specifically, taking a look in the 3-day RSI, obviously we are in a downtrend right now, as we have been over the past couple months or so. And obviously this is not Bitcoin's first ever downtrend. We have seen this happen time and time again. And if you simply take a look at these other two areas on the chart that I've mapped out here in the 3-day RSI for Bitcoin, we have stayed in a downtrend in both the Bitcoin price and in the RSI, while the 3-day RSI is trading below this descending line of resistance both of these previous times here. And this has also been true over the past couple months. We have seen the 3-day RSI for Bitcoin getting rejections from this descending line of resistance. But looking back at these last two times, we didn't really see a lot of bullish price action come into play until we finally saw the 3-day Bitcoin RSI break back above this descending line of resistance both of these times here. And so it was when that happened, when we finally saw an uptrend in the 3-day RSI for Bitcoin, that is when we finally started to see more bullish price action coming into play for Bitcoin. So if you're looking at what we're seeing right now, we have not seen a break above this descending line of resistance, at least just yet, which simply means that we are still in a downtrend. We haven't confirmed a recovery, and technically we haven't really confirmed a bottom, at least just yet, but we are getting closer to one. And another method to potentially confirm a Bitcoin bottom that I have been talking about for a while now on the channel is, of course, the weekly time frame for Bitcoin, and more specifically looking in the volume indicator, because usually anytime we see a major spike or surge in the weekly volume, that comes in confluence with either a major market top or a major market bottom. And what we are seeing right now is still relatively low volume compared to these previous volume spikes on the weekly chart. Now, if you're on some lower time frames like the 3-day charts that I was just looking at, we are seeing the volume starting to increase ever so slightly, and we can see this happening more on the daily chart as well. But once again, looking on the weekly chart, this hasn't flowed over to these much larger time frames, at least just yet. And now taking a look at this unknown Bitcoin wallet address, which is clearly a Bitcoin whale, because they have just accumulated over $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. And what's very interesting is that the majority of that accumulation, the majority of the Bitcoin that they have bought recently, has been over the past 2 months, since November. And by the way, what this chart shows us right here is the Bitcoin wallet balance over time. The red line shows us the balance in US dollars, and the blue line shows us the balance in Bitcoin terms. So if anything, it is more accurate to look at the blue line to see how much Bitcoin this wallet is accumulating, rather than looking at the red line, because that also changes depending on what Bitcoin's price actually is. And so if we're looking at one of the low points that we saw in this Bitcoin wallet's balance back in November, this was on November 13th, which was only a couple days after Bitcoin reached its all-time high and started coming back down again. And on that day, this Bitcoin wallet held around 3,900 Bitcoin. And since that day, around 2 months ago, this Bitcoin wallet address has been constantly accumulating more and more Bitcoin as the price has been going lower and lower. In fact, at the time of filming this video, this Bitcoin wallet address is currently holding over 28,941 Bitcoin, worth well over $1 billion US dollars, which means just in the last 2 months alone, this Bitcoin whale accumulated around $900 million worth of Bitcoin. And the purchases, or I should say the deposits into this Bitcoin wallet, are extremely frequent, as in we are literally seeing millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin flow into this Bitcoin wallet address every few hours or so. So what does this mean for us as Bitcoin holders? Well, obviously it is extremely bullish because it is taking away Bitcoin circulating supply and moving it off exchanges, which is technically making the available Bitcoin supply scarcer and scarcer as this is happening. And aside from that, this is obviously a big player. Anyone that has $1 billion to invest are usually known as smart money because usually they know what they are doing if they have that much money. And so the fact that they are continuing to buy millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin every few hours is obviously a good sign for us Bitcoin holders. And I shared this information over on my Twitter, and two of the most common questions were, what about the Bitcoin flowing out of this wallet, and is this Bitcoin wallet a crypto exchange? Well, to answer the first question, this chart right here, the Bitcoin wallet balance, includes both inflows and outflows from this wallet address, and this list of transactions down here include both inflows and outflows from the Bitcoin wallet address, and you have to scroll all the way down to get to the next outflow that came out of this wallet address, which was a withdrawal of around 1,100 Bitcoin worth approximately 39 million US dollars. But that withdrawal was done around 3 days ago, and since then there has been way more Bitcoin flow into this wallet than there has been withdrawn. And to answer the second question of whether or not this might be an exchange wallet, because usually we see a lot of Bitcoin sitting on exchanges, and while there is no way to know for certain who owns this Bitcoin wallet without the owner officially announcing that they own this Bitcoin wallet, we can still compare it to other exchange wallets like the Binance exchange wallet, for example. And what we can see here is very large but infrequent transactions flowing in and out of the wallets. But more recently, over the last few months, we've seen a lot of outflows from the Binance exchange. And now looking at this wallet right here, this is the Bitfinex exchange. We basically see the exact same thing. A lot of very large but infrequent transactions going to and from this wallet. And more recently, over the last few months, if anything, we have seen more outflows from this exchange than inflows. And here's another couple Bitcoin exchange wallets. We see a similar thing, as you can see, and another exchange wallet right here, as you can see. And so going back to this original Bitcoin whale wallet, this is obviously not showing anything similar to those exchange wallets that we were just looking at. And on top of that, this Bitcoin on-chain chart shows us the total exchange reserve. So the total amount of Bitcoin sitting on all exchanges. And over the past few months, this has been declining, as in we have seen a lot of money move off exchanges, which means it's very unlikely that this is an exchange wallet, because obviously if money is moving off exchanges, then that directly contradicts this Bitcoin wallet gaining $900 million worth of Bitcoin over the past 2 months. So it would make much more sense if the owner of this wallet was some sort of investor or company or even country getting involved into Bitcoin. And if you want to get pieces of important information like this earlier than these videos, make sure you follow me over on my Twitter, and the link to my Twitter is in the description down below and also in the pinned comments. If you got anything of value out of this video, please make sure to leave a like down below, and if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe with notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on any of these important updates that I post every single day. And before you click off, you might as well check out one of these uploads if you haven't already, because these videos can potentially help you make more money in the crypto markets. And as always, I honestly do appreciate all of your support in the channel at the moment. I can't thank you enough. But anyway, that is it for this update. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.